My wife had a little fender bender on her Honda Civic, and today I'm going to get started. I'm going to rough out the metal in the quarter, and I'm going to take the bumper off and fix the bumper. And then there's a big difference between fixing bumpers and metal, and I'll discuss that when the time comes. Right now I'm going to get the bumper off. This is probably the easiest bumper to take off in terms of production cars. It's very simple. It requires a Phillips screwdriver, a clip tool, and 8mm, I believe, 8 or 10mm, and that's about it. These are the only tools I'm going to need to take this bumper off. Very easy bumper. Alright, so now I'm done with the metal work. I'm going to begin filling and then priming. And there's also a little ding right on this body line, and I'm going to have to hammer and dolly that out, because when they're on a body line they're pretty hard to get out. As you can see, I use a stud gun, and I also did some shrinking. As you can see, they're really light shrinks, because you don't want to hold your finger on the trigger for too long on a stud gun when you do a shrink, or it's going to sink it back in and over shrink. So I do a bunch of light shrinks around and circle in, and now it's nice and stiff and nice and flat. So this is going to be ready for filler in no time. All I got to do is prep it out and start filling. And there's been a change of plans on the bumper. I'm now going to repair the bumper and paint it. Also, since there's this little ding right here, this is going to have to be a butt match. And a lot of people say white is an easy color to match, but I don't think so, because there's a lot of variances. You'll either have too much blue or too much yellow. And you don't see the blue. The blue will make it look more white. So to cancel out yellow, you add blue. To cancel out the blue, you add yellow. But we don't have a toner bank, so we don't have toners to make the right tinting adjustment. So I'm hoping there's going to be a good butt match, because it's going to butt right up to that door because of that little ding right there. Otherwise I could keep the primer nice and small and blend it, but I mean, regardless if that little ding wasn't there, that's not a huge area to blend, considering the primer is going to feather out and the filler and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buff this, and then this will make it look newer, which will make it blend with the new paint that I apply. Also, since it's a quarter panel, all this is going to get clear coated up here. This comes off. There's a stud right here, and I can't remember where it goes, forward or back, but it slides out, and then you could kind of peel it out, and it's kind of rubbery, so it's easy to come out. And you want to take it out so that your paint edges go down in there so they don't peel. And right here, I already took this piece out so the paint edge could go down there. And these are just little clips. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick a rubber wheel on this pinstripe, and I'm going to see if there's a tan line, because if there's not a tan line, I'm just going to go ahead and take that off right now and not worry about putting it back on, and then I'll just take out the pinstripe on both sides, and that'll save me from doing the pinstripe. And plus, I don't really like the pinstripe, and neither does my wife, so I'm going to get started. Right now I'll take the bumper off. I still have some work on the bumper bracket. As you can see, it's too close, because it's just dented in, this area went this way, and that's why there's a Audi right here. So what I'm going to do is take the bumper off, take the bumper bracket off, and then straighten that, and then do a test fit. And once I get that good, I'm going to begin to mud this quarter and then prime it, and then go inside and start fixing the bumper. Might as well use my thumb because I don't have a 3M rubber wheel, and the rubber wheel is yellow white paint. Should have known better. 3M rubber wheels don't do that. I have my real rubber wheel tool is at work, and that's where my 3M rubber wheel is. So I was just using the actual wheel that came with the tool that I don't use. I guess that's good for now until I paint, and I'll clean this up and put some new double side tape on it and leave the red backing on it. And when it's ready to roll, I'll repaint this and slap it back on there. You see the gap right here to right there? Right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Smaller than it's supposed to be. I'll take a mental picture of that, and let's go over to the other side and have a look. Now look at this gap. Much bigger. So I think it's the quarter and not down here on the other side. I think the edge is just rolled over, but it also could be this kicked outwards because this is too far out. Gap's all better. Still a little small right here. And I had to hit this area in because this is where the impact was, which is right here. And it caused this to go in, this to go out. And that's what caused the high spot. So after banging this down a little bit, this no longer rubs against the bumper, and it now aligns with this screw hole right here. Now I feel where I'm going to put my filler, but I felt a little high spot right on the body line. And they're hard to come out. But it's so small, it's one of those things where you'll see a slight little tweak in the paint. To get them out, I either use a hammer dolly, or if I'm not very precise and it's not ergonomically perfect, where I know the dolly's perfectly there and I'm smacking it perfectly, I'll take a chisel, and the chisel will hammer it out. I put it right on the body line, smack it. Now that I guide coated it, I'm going to hit it with some T20. Got a little guide coat on the door, but it's alright, it'll come right off. Now I'm going to sand it, and then I'm going to feather all these edges out a little more, and hit it with a soft pad and a finishing sander or 180. And I'm going to prime, mask and prime. Soft pad, finishing gear. Keep fine. All that work, and there's another dent in the back that I didn't even see. Jesus fucking Christ. A scuff pad is just for the overspray at the edge of the fan. So I want to make sure I hit all the areas I 180 with the DA. So I'll be priming up here, but there's going to be a little bit up there. So. When I block and paint, I'll take this tail light off. I just want to get it in the primer before Monday, so my wife goes to work, it's in primer and protected. Backmasking all this. This is the curve. I'm going to put a little tear right here, so it can now fold over like that. I'm going to back mask this, and I'm going to put masking paper all the way right here. I'm going to put some wheel covers right there. I'm going to mask the door. I'm going to mask up here, but I'm not going to do an intricate mask because I'm going to turn my primer gun really low so it doesn't have a lot of overspray, and that will result in more orange peel. But say the filler ended here. I know I'm going to put 2 to 3 coats of primer on it. So say if I do my first coat like this, fan out my second coat a little further, and my third coat a little further than that. Sometimes I might be overwhelmed, and the edge of my primer might be too close to the door to where the painter can't do a proper blend of his paint. So what guys do sometimes is do a reverse blend, in which they will take their primer out on the first coat as far as they plan on taking it. And the second coat is in. And the first coat, or the last coat, is just on the repair area. And that's how you do a reverse blend, and that's how you make painters happy, so they don't have to paint extra panels and stuff like that. On this repair, it doesn't matter, it's going to be a butt match, because this is too close to the door. Now I got my air pressure turned really low because I don't want any overspray on anybody else's car or on my own car, my wife's car. So I got it really low, and that's going to lead to more orange peel, but that's okay. all done priming, and if you notice, the gun is really dirty. It's because when I made commission and I worked in a production shop, this was my money maker. I never really took it apart to clean it. Well, actually, I do. But it's not every time. It's about once every 2 weeks I'll take it apart to clean it. But what I do is I stick a lacquer thinner in there to about this much, and then I take the cap off, or almost off, till it's like right around the last thread, like right there, and then I turn the air all the way up and I plug it in and I let it rip. And what happens is it gargles the air in here, and it loosens up any hardened primer that's in there. And then after that, you take the air supply out and you let it go through the gun. You do it again, and you do it again, and then after you do it one more time, you tighten it up. You let the acetone or lacquer thinner go through the orifices, and then you leave a little lacquer thinner in there, and you throw your air cap in there. And that's how you take care of your primer gun, and it's really quick. And when I used to do that, I took care of like 5 or 6 spot repairs in one day easily. And there was a lot of dents and stuff. So basically, this is how you do a spot repair.